back at it again, and we've got one here with Steven Crowder. Huge shout out to Steven Crowder. If you guys aren't subscribed to his YouTube channel, highly suggest that you do so. All right, Steven Crowder. I'm sure most of you guys know who Steven Crowder is already. We've checked out Steven Crowder before. But anyway, before we hop into it, like, share, comment, of course, hit the subscribe button if you're new. Make sure you're following me on social media too. All of those links are down below in the description box. And with that being said, let's dive in.
I kind of had a plan on this, not exactly to the extent that I would envision it, but...
The same Elizabeth Warren who went after the GameStop bettors and defended Wall Street.
Hold on, let me move my head so y'all can take a look at that as well. To what extent did online message boards such as those on Reddit or broader social media amplification impact the fluctuation of GameStop's price? Did any of these practices violate existing securities laws? Oh yeah, okay. So they're discussing the whole GameStop situation that went down. How long ago was that? Was that 2 years ago? Where like there was like this huge run in GameStop stock. That was like 2 years ago. For anybody that's, you know, involved in stocks and trading, I'm sure you remember the whole GameStop story where like GameStop went from like $1 to like $150. It was crazy. It was whew. Anyway, let's jump back in.
The thing, I'm not.
I know that you were pissed. You must have been pissed about that, right?
I'm not a fan of Elizabeth Warren. I'll tell you that. But
all right, common ground.
Not many people are.
But they both proposed like, hey, like we need worker representation on the board, right? On boards of these companies, like workers who work on these floors of these companies, workers who are doing a brunt of the amount of work that provides, like what you love about Amazon is the fact that it's so efficient, is that they get you your shit in one day, right? Like the fact that they're very efficient in doing what they do, but that comes at the expense of these workers, that comes at the expense of, I mean, like, you know.
So I don't.
I disagree when people say stuff like that, only because, and I'll make this short and sweet, but only because you have the option to work for said company. You don't have to work for anyone. You can create your own business and make whatever you want to make, you know, depending on how hard you're willing to work or what business you're in. So when people say it's at the expense of these workers, no, it's not. You have the option to leave if you don't think the pay is enough. Just saying.
Agree with your premise that workers are doing the brunt of it, and I think that anyone and there's look, and here's the thing. Here's what's interesting to me.
Okay,
can I finish? Can I make a point here?
Yeah.
What's interesting to me is, for example, if you look at the increase in corporate tax rates, okay, supported by Amazon, supported by all the big companies. You look at the lockdowns, supported by all the big companies, right? We've created more, and this is Bernie supported lockdowns, Elizabeth Warren supported lockdowns, socialists supported lockdowns. They're the party of big business. Let me explain to you why. There are no more. No, let me explain to you why. We have created more billionaires this last year. Do you realize?
Oh, let me move my head out of the way because he keeps bringing up things here at the bottom. All right, there we go. Billionaires add $1 trillion to net worth during, over that 2-year span or however long that was. Billionaires added $1 trillion to their net worth. That is crazy. Wow.
That than ever.
No, billionaires have gotten insanely rich.
No, but only this last year, and there have been more middle-sized businesses and small-sized businesses that have been shuttered than ever before. Now, guess what? Those mid-sized businesses oppose the higher corporate taxes, oppose the democratic socialism. The only people who support it are Google, Amazon, Apple, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube.
Well,
they support your ideas, but people like me who employ 15 to 50 people are against it.
You say they support my ideas, and yet I want democratization of the workplace. They definitely don't support that.
Well, guess who's going to have the ability to get a waiver just like Obamacare? The big companies. So we'll have to democratize my workplace, but they won't do that at Amazon.
I mean,
do you disagree with me that there are elites who have more influence and lobbyists for Amazon than me with my little YouTube channel?
That's just how this country operates.
Right.
It's like
and
the influence of like effective oligarchs.
And do you see
like big tech companies, like Jeff Bezos of the world?
And it's interesting that we went from the bureaucrat phase to the oligarch phase to invoke sort of Orwell, right? Which is where we are at this point, where almost conservatives now. Here's one thing where I think we can find common ground, because a lot of people say like, well, you sound like a socialist to me. But let me explain to you why. Where I go, look, you have 5 companies the wealthiest people, increased their net worth by 600 billion in 6 months in this pandemic, right?
Insane.
Insane.
Like
we agree that that's terrible, right?
Yeah.
Do we both agree like that's...
Absolutely.
Now, we probably agree it's morally reprehensible.
Yes.
Same thing that all these billionaires are created when small businesses are suffering. Now, here's where we differ, okay? I think it's reprehensible. Not if they made their money honestly, I couldn't care less. If Amazon made that money,
I think it's impossible.
Well, no, my point is if they made the money because I chose their goods or services voluntarily, I don't have a problem. The reason they made that money is because of Elizabeth Warren's and Bernie Sanders and Biden's and Kamala Harris's, who shut down the economy and determined winners and losers. In other words,
Absolutely,
I was
which is
precluded
why-
from going to a local grocer. I couldn't go to the local coffee shop. In Michigan, I couldn't go to the local nursery, but I could go to Costco and I could order from Amazon.
Here's the thing. I totally agree with everything.
Boom. And it's all by design. That's one of the things that I've been discovering, I feel is true, throughout this journey, is that in order to completely, destroy our society, especially here in America, you have to destroy the middle class. So you let the rich get filthy rich, and everybody that was in the middle, you start slowly lowering them back down to that lower level. So you have the poor, and you have the elites and the rich, and nothing in between. There's no buffer in between. There's no climbing of a ladder. I think it's all by design. But what do y'all think? Maybe I'm a conspiracy theorist. I don't believe that I am. I feel like I just kind of see through the smoke screen, but maybe I am getting deep into the conspiracies. I don't know. Y'all talk to me, all right?
Thing you just said, but our difference comes with the solution.
Right. I don't believe that more government would make it better. I think more government has made it worse.
I think that government keeping these businesses afloat is not only good, I think they had a moral obligation to do so.
But they didn't keep businesses afloat.
No, exactly.
They only gave money to their wealthy donor class. And the worst offender is Bernie and Elizabeth Warren.
Exactly. You have all these big companies. I mean, it reminds me of 2008 in terms of bailouts going to big banks, right?
Right.
Like you have all these major companies who are benefiting from this, and then the middleman, like the small guy, gets cut out, right?
They want to privatize profits and socialize losses, big banks.
Exactly.
Yes.
You sound like a socialist now.
But my issue is, guess what? What if no company is too big to fail? It's a self-solving problem. If you say, we're not giving you money. If you say, well, look, we're not shutting down businesses, guess what? In every single one of those scenarios, more government is not required to fix it. Government created that problem. Government created subprime loans. Government decided to bail out banks.
My view is government is sustaining that problem, and government completely has the power to eradicate that issue. Like when it comes to this pandemic, right? In terms of businesses failing, like what, half of small businesses are never going to reopen, right?
Yeah, it was something like the last number said was 60% of businesses that were open in April would be closed by October.
And like
record profits for Costco
and a lot
Amazon.
of those closures would be indefinite, right?
Yes.
Like, my problem is the government had the resources and the opportunity to keep them afloat via stimulus checks, via like all the funding that
They actually didn't have enough, though. That's also the issue.
I definitely
They don't
think
have
they
enough
did
money.
that. Really? Okay. Why
They don't. First, so two problems. They don't have enough money, and the money didn't go to the people who needed it.
Exactly. That's like
The money went to social. This is where you talk about how you're not an identity politics. Go to the people who.
Only 9% of the stimulus plan going to public health. The overall spending for public health is $400 billion, or roughly 21% of proposed. Okay.
Needed it.
Exactly. That's like
The money went to social. This is where you talk about how you're not an identity politic person.
Yeah.
The money went to things like critical race. There went to a bunch of bullshit earmarked projects. The money, and not to mention the policy,
But definitely-
favored giant corporations.
that had to be such an insignificant amount of money that went to little
No,
projects
you know,
like that,
Joe Biden's
right?
infrastructure bill, let's use his right now. $2 trillion.
$2.3 trillion.
How much of it
over
goes to
10 years,
infrastructure?
Right. I actually don't know. I haven't read the specifics.
Less than
of it.
600 million.
Really?
Yeah.
So what's the rest on?
Bullshit. I'm just talking about 35 billion here, 200 billion there. Big part of it is for Green New Deal stuff, not necessarily
But I mean,
not
that's
green infrastructure.
infrastructure,
No, not just infrastructure.
How is that
but
not
proposing certain
infrastructure,
policies. Okay, $600 billion to infrastructure. My point is, it's a never-ending hole, right? For example, if throwing more money, if the government.
That's also one thing that I've learned throughout this journey is that they'll label a bill with like this great name. $2.3 trillion infrastructure bill. We're gonna fix the roads and the infrastructure of America. And only 600 million of it will be going to that, and the rest will be like, oh, we're sending 80 billion to Africa. We're giving, Africa 80 billion for reparations, and we're sending, another 200 billion to this organization. And once I learned that, I'm just absolutely disgusted how they are just like blowing money like it's nobody's business. Oh, 200 billion? Oh, whatever. Send it. And once again, I think that is intentional as well. But maybe I'm a conspiracy theorist. I don't want to like go deep in no rabbit holes. So please, if I am going down a conspiracy rabbit hole, somebody please pull me out. Okay. But am I right? Is that by design to destroy the dollar? CBDC, central banking, they can control it. Let me know. Talk to me. If I'm going crazy though, let me know. Don't let me go crazy and you just watch it happen, all right? Pull me out.
Had money, throwing more money at schools. Washington, D.C. and Detroit would have the best schools in the country. We don't have a money problem. We have a spending problem, and we have a corruption problem with the government, which I think we agree with.
Definitely, yeah, no.
I just don't think that we should put more power in the hands of the corrupt. I think that you're believing that inherently there are some people who are altruistic. But what I'm saying is probably the examples of people you would pick most, Bernie and Elizabeth Warren. Bernie, every single step of the way, if you do research, right, and I'm sure you have, but if you look at his policies, ended up benefiting, I'm not saying he meant to, ended up benefiting Amazon, Costco, Walmart, and then you had Elizabeth Warren come out against the GameStop bettors.
But my problem is Bernie is he's one socialist senator in a sea of 535 federal
I know, can you imagine how bad it would be if everyone was Bernie? There would only be Amazon.
Democratic stealing.
That's my point, right? People like me were going, don't shut down my business, and Bernie's like, shut down the business.
I mean, but did he not support more government funds going to middle-sized businesses?
But the point is, business owners are like, just don't shut down my business.
But
you can't fix the problem by giving me $1,600 is not going to employ 15 people.
But no, that's not even not even stimulus. I mean, like at that point, we were in a pandemic. Like, we've had over 500,000 people die. I feel like it's a very reasonable fear to have in order for us to be.
I don't think that it's reasonable to create the worst.
Listen. The way that I felt about the whole thing, hey, if you want to stay in the house, shut in, do your thing. If you want to go out and carry on, hey, if you get put in the pine box, you just get put in the pine box. That's your choice. It's your choice. That's the way that I see it. Leave me alone. Let me do my thing. All right. Now, obviously, when it was going on, I wasn't as aware of everything and, the deviousness of it all. But obviously, throughout this journey, I've learned, no, that was absolutely wrong. That was absolutely wrong. So that's just the way that I see it now. Let people choose whatever it is that they want to do. If you want to stay at home inside, cool, stay at home. If you want to go out and carry on, my friend. Carry on.
Unemployment, economic devastation, increase in suicide rates, shut down schools over a virus with over 99% survival rate.
It's definitely had a bad effect, obviously, but there's a public health thing, and I mean, we could get into Fauci and how he's flipped positions on.
Right now in the United States, people should not be walking around with masks.
You're sure of it? Because people are listening really closely to this.
Right now, people should not be walking. There's no reason to be walking around with a mask. I mean, for me as a public health official, obviously, I would like the consideration that everybody wears a mask. If you have a physical covering with one layer, you put another layer on, it just makes common sense.
But
See, I think we would have a lot of common ground. Yeah, Fauci's kind of a dick. Can we end on that? He's kind of a dick?
He's kind of been touted as the know-all when it comes to health and pandemics, and
you're like, is it Fauci last week or this week?
He's very noticeably switched positions, so it's hard.
But the point is, Fauci will never lose power under a socialist government. Do you understand that?
I just don't.
People like him never lose power.
I don't think
Fauci has suckled at the government teat forever. He screwed up. If you look at the response to AIDS, Fauci has been a charlatan. He hasn't seen a patient in 40 years.
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, think about that. And the doctors who have seen patients have been banned from YouTube, saying, well, I don't think this is the right solution. I think Fauci is wrong. And then 2 weeks later, he goes and he agrees with them. So my point is, I think we're so close. But Fauci, Bernie, Biden, Elizabeth Warren, these are career politicians and they don't care about you.
Nope. They don't care about you. They don't care about you. And all of these folks, like my guy that we just checked out there, I don't think they're aware of it just yet. That they don't truly care about you. And as Steven Crowder was pointing out, just look, the proof is in the pudding. What happened once, all of these policies were pushed forth? Who benefited from them? Historically, who has benefited from, these policies that people like Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren have pushed forth? The proof is in the eating, as Joe Biden would say. That makes me chuckle every time. But read it and wait. I mean, it sounds good. They make it sound really rosy, but they're good at playing the game. But hey, what can you do? I mean, I'll do my best to try to, show the truth to as many individuals as possible before it's too late. Hopefully this gentleman here who is sitting down with Steven Crowder has his eyes opened a little bit more. I definitely don't think he's there yet, just based on, his responses to what Steven Crowder was saying. But hey, who knows? Who knows? Anyway, y'all let me know what you thought about this one in the comment section below. Like, share, comment, hit that subscribe button before you go. Peace and love. I'm out.